Before we started about this building eventually is going to be replaced. There's going to be a new justice complex built here. Joe Stefanski writes in, the governor's signing the bill tomorrow. His question is, it's going to be paid for in part through increased court fees. And he's expressing a concern. He wants to know, or are you concerned that maybe that prices people out of the court system? Is it going to be too much for people to try and seek justice?
I think that's an appropriate concern to raise. And I don't think it will in this situation for two reasons. One is that we have looked at the fees compared to nationally, and our fees are very low, comparatively speaking. And even over the full progress of this project, it would still only raise the fees to about the midpoint nationwide. So I think that's one answer. The second answer is if anybody is indigent, they are excused from paying fees in the courts. So it won't impact adversely the truly indigent people. And we think that the fees have been so modest that the increase will still not be too much of a burden on the average litigant.
We received a question from J.M. Fay in unincorporated Arapahoe County, who is speech impaired and has had some issues, and he realizes it's an ADA issue, it's a federal issue, but he's had some issues with court hearings with fully working accommodations here in Colorado. Is this a concern that you've heard of people who have disabilities and trying to get access to the justice system?
I think these issues come up, and we try to do our best to accommodate people. And it often happens with hearing impaired people, for example, in old courthouses where the acoustics are not very good. So we have tried to accommodate those kinds of issues. If you're building a new courthouse, you can build in the technology and make it a lot easier to deal with people's handicaps and eliminate steps and other sort of barriers. But it is difficult to deal with those kind of barriers in old courthouses. A lot of our courthouses are really old, so we do have to continually be making adjustments and trying to help people who need access and should have access to the court. So yes, it's an important issue.
You were telling me before we started about how the court has been going out to high schools and hearing cases. We received a couple of questions from some grade schoolers. And they actually submitted 11 of them, but I'm going to read you two because I think they're interesting. Carl and Kristen Pearson, what achievement or legacy do you want your court to be known for?
My court? I don't know that it's my court. I'm just one justice on the court, so I don't think that I could characterize it as my court. I would like to be known as someone who tried to be a good public servant and who really was dedicated and worked hard to do justice in every individual case. So that's what I'd like to be known as.
Probably no surprise that 11 questions came from precocious kids who asked the following. What does the future look like for attorneys, judges, and the court systems? What advice do you give to kids today who are interested in pursuing careers in the legal profession?
We can always use good lawyers, good people to come into the practice. And there has sometimes been some criticism or expression of thought that there are too many lawyers and there's not enough work to go around. There certainly are big problems that need to be solved. So I would encourage anybody, the public-spirited people out there among children who are students, to think about this as a career. Yeah, I've certainly enjoyed doing it.
It's not a bad word, lawyer?
Not to me.
Chief Justice Mary Mullarkey, thank you so much for being on your show.
You're very welcome.